have a question. What is your favorite song and how do you connect with it? Is it when you fell in love or through something really difficult? I'm your host, Tiffany Mason. Now join me as I interview others and we take a walk down memory lane with them. Let's get lost in why that music matters to them. Turn up your radio and let's explore Memories with a Beat. Hello, Podcast Land. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Memories with a Beat. Today, I have with me Patience Modevi, and she's all the way across the pond in London. I came across her reel, and she was just dancing and enjoying her song, and I thought, that's a girl that should be on my podcast. So I'm so excited you're here today. Welcome to the podcast, Patience.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you for having me. I love the idea of your podcast, Memory with a Beat. Okay, we're doing just one song today, but I could do so many songs for you. I love the idea of your podcast. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I came across the idea with just enjoying music so much, and then other people, and then I know how much I connect with a song, so I wanted to hear how someone else connects with their songs, so it's given me a lot of perspective on many songs, and it's funny how I see a lot of songs very differently now. So I'm glad you're able to join me today. You have the best smile, first of all. I just have to tell you that. It's absolutely infectious, and your energy just came through on that reel, and I enjoyed watching it. I would watch it multiple times. It was great.
Thank you. It's just my way of letting this out of me and not just being like the professional person on Instagram, but really showing a bit of myself.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to do that. Yeah, it feels good to dance party once in a while. Well, hey, if you wouldn't mind, Patience, would you let my audience know where you are, what you're doing, just a little bit about yourself?
Yes, sure. So I'm Patience, and I'm a mom of three. I've got three boys. I live in London with my husband, and originally from France. I help and support young people and women as well into living their best lives. Everything to do with self-love, self-care, self-acceptance, and self-worth.
That's so awesome. Your boys are going to have a head up in life or a leg up in life just for having a mom that exudes how important mindset is and, being motivated and using your energy for good. Just because that's something that, I don't know about London, but they don't teach that in our schools. They don't teach
Yes.
mindset. They don't teach self-love. So I think that that's a really important thing that your children are seeing as they're growing up. So that's amazing, Patience.
Yes, and I think you're right. I think it's across the pond, so it's also in England or even in France. Like people don't really. That's not like a subject that you're being taught at school, and I think it's so important because, especially lately, with the rise of mental health challenges within young people, it's and also women. So I think it's important to do this work.
Yeah, I agree. 1,000%. Amen. Couldn't have said it better. That kind of brings us to your song, just self-love and expressing yourself and that kind of thing. Do you want to let my audience know what song you chose and why you chose it?
Yeah, so I chose Spanish Harlem, sung by Aretha Franklin. And the reason I chose it is because I have this deep connection with my dad, and my dad used to love Aretha Franklin. Like we had all the albums, everything. Like
Mm,
even I'm not gonna say all the album. I'm gonna say all the vinyls, you know.
okay.
all the vinyls and everything, and he just really loved her. And I don't know, I think it's something from when you arrive in France, and he just connected with her music. And I don't know, she kind of like been in my education, in my growth, in the background.
Okay.
Yeah, in the background. I just love this song particularly. Has been really, I think, because I love the la 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 la, and obviously as a French,
Mm-hmm.
as I said before, I couldn't speak English the way I'm speaking it now. So the only thing I
Sure.
knew was the la 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 la, and I love, I love this kind of like, it just makes your body move at the same time. Like you see, I'm doing it now.
Yeah, you can't really think of it without moving. You can't say the thing, the fa or the la la la's without kind of moving. You have to. I think you have to. It's a prerequisite
Exactly.
for the song.
And so my dad passed away when I was in my 20s,
Mm.
and it's always been something like when I've heard Aretha Franklin, or when I've went and put her songs on, it's always got me back to that kind of warmth and remembering my dad.
Oh, that's so sweet. Where did your dad come from? So you said that when he arrived in France, he connected with Aretha Franklin?
Yeah, yeah. So he came from West Africa, so Togo, from
Oh,
Togo.
okay.
And he went to France in 1962, 62.
Okay.
Yeah, in 62 he arrived, and he arrived by boat. So it was the whole kind of going on an adventure and everything. So yeah, and then he just stayed there and met my mom, and they had their lives together.
Mhm.
And I was born there. I've lived practically most of my young adult life, young life there in France, and then I came here in my 20s as well. So yeah,
That's the time to move, right? It's in your 20s.
yeah, I've got the both of you know the both worlds, English and French. So
Mm.
it's all good.
Very good. Very good. I was gonna ask you, is this a song that when you were little, because you said you knew the La 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 part, is this a song that, your dad would put on the weekends and you guys would kind of goof around and play with?
Yes,
Or is this a
yes,
song that, how did you come across it or how did he introduce that song to you?
yeah. It's exactly that. Like you, you went on point. So basically, we'll be over the weekend, when everybody's relaxing, and it'll be like, oh, I'm putting some music. And my dad was someone who always made you want to dance as well. So he will start doing some
Mm.
moves, and everybody will dance. And as I look at him and my mom dancing together, so
Aw.
there's always been this kind of like warmth about it.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
And then there was all this warmth and everything. So I have memories of my dad. So like my 18th birthday, where I invited my friends, and it was supposed to kind of like move away and go and just leave me and my friends together. And he stayed, and he started dancing, and he was inviting everybody.
Ah,
So there's always kind of like this kind of warmth and joy about my dad, and especially like this song I really love.
oh, that is so sweet. That makes me think of another lady who was speaking about her dad, and she said to know her was to know her father. And I feel like that may be true in energy and happiness with you, because I could see you, having your kids and they have their friends over, and then you're like, we gonna dance.
Yes.
And there's really no
Oh my
better
god.
satisfaction as a parent than to embarrass them just a little bit. So, or make them uncomfortable, make them just kind of squirm in their skin just a little bit.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Tiffany, where have you been? Like I feel like we know each other.
I've been watching your backyard, so I know what's up.
It's exactly that. I'm always taking them. I'm like, dance with me. No, I don't want to. Just little bit, you know?
Because it just feels good. You just have to get some kind of
Yes,
rise out of them. Because we
that's
don't really
right.
get to interact with them that much. I mean, we do, but to really laugh with them and I think that they remember those things, and I know that I hear my kids friends say like your mom is so fun, and so I'm like, they may not appreciate it now, but when they look back they might think like my mom was always fun with my friends and my friends always thought that that was kind of cool.
Exactly.
So I hope that's how it goes, fingers
It will
crossed.
go like that. It will go like that.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you for the speaking that into the universe. Do you put this song on now always in a happy space, or would you say sometimes when you're just missing your father, you put this on?
Ah, okay. So the song then became a little bit of a sad
Mhm,
song for me for a
mhm,
period of time. So I think from when I lost my dad until I would say my early 30s, I was kind
mhm,
of in this kind of funk where it was like really like sadness and I would say my parents didn't have like millions or anything like that, but they gave me a lot of
mm,
love, and I think I missed this
mm,
interaction. For a while, it became sad. So it became sad when I was listening to those songs. And then from my 30s, it took another turn and it
Hmm.
really became like a happy memory, you know. And I think I kind of like grieved. So it took me a while to grieve. And once the grieving process kind of went through, and I was feeling
Mm,
like I'm coming back to myself,
yeah.
I think it really became something. And I love, this song. So basically, the message behind it is that even though there's concrete and even though it's dark outside, the rose still come through. So basically she still comes through no matter the challenges, and she blossoms. And I think that's just so beautiful. I never understood this until like later on.
Yeah, I love that too. There's another song that I did that I'm going to actually share with you. It's called Super Bloom, and it's talking about being resilient, but it has the same idea where it's talking about, this bloom making its way through concrete, and that's such a powerful imagery, right? Because we all know how hard it is to bust through that concrete. Thank God they put those little slits in it, right? So normally we see weeds, but in this song and in that song, we hear of this triumphant, bloom that's coming up and thriving regardless of the circumstances. And I would imagine you talk about that a little bit in your coaching.
Yes, yes, that's what I do. So I've got a program specifically for women, and we talk about like is really rediscovering yourself, but also setting those kind of anchors along the way that help you to be your best self and have this kind of love for yourself, whether things are good or bad or not so good or
Happy or sad.
exactly, exactly that,
Sorry,
exactly that.
it just made me think of that song. I feel
Let
like
me
everything makes me think of a song.
and I love that song as well. But basically, it's what it is like, okay, you will go through challenges, like things will happen,
Mhm.
but we still love ourselves deeply and we nurture that.
Yeah, yeah, that's a beautiful message. When you were going through that time of kind of mourning, grieving your father, would you say that it was every Aretha Franklin song, or was it this song specifically?
No, at that time it was every
Mm,
Aretha Franklin song. It was like just this thought of my dad, and it just took me. So I saw it's so weird. So any songs in general from that time, it's like I'm transported back to my childhood,
hmm.
and being there and seeing my dad is in his flip flops, sitting on the sofa,
Awesome.
and just relaxing while he's listening to the
Mhm,
songs, and so there's that kind of like, yeah, I'll say Aretha Franklin. I don't know, it kind of loved a lot of songs, but
mhm.
that particular performer, like Aretha Franklin, was someone that along the line, she's been there all the time. Like, I don't know if she played the song when I was born, but basically, she's been there all my life.
Okay, that makes sense. I love that about music too. That in an instant, doesn't it feel like when they do it on like a TV show, there's like a gust of wind and everything gets foggy for a second, and then it all comes into vision. And that is one of the best gifts of music, I think,
Yes,
is that it helps us to revisit those memories.
completely, completely. And it's like, without knowing, those are anchors, which you call anchors in coaching, but basically those are anchors.
Okay.
So they remind you of a specific thing. So you can always use a song right now to incorporate it into a happy time. And every time you play that song, you'll be reminded of that happy time and going back to it, going back to it, going back to it. And it's the same with other senses, like your smell, what you see, or things like that.
Mm.
So I don't know. I just love it, and luckily, I'm somebody who's kind of like open. So I just get,
Hmm.
I get whoops transported.
I hear you. I hear I'm like that too, so I can appreciate that. Do you do some kind of anchor practice with your coaching clients
Yes.
with music or with all five senses, or what do you typically do?
It's much more all five senses, but the so far it's been more about the smell. It's been more about like the
Okay.
atmosphere that is being created, and also the visualization as well. So
Hmm.
all of these are kind of been things that I've been practicing with my clients. Yes, a lot.
Interesting. Interesting. I know that you said that you have a Spotify playlist for like empowerment and your clients and something that you just kind of like to share. I'm wondering, does it have this song on your playlist?
Yes, it is on the playlist. So
Hmm.
basically, after I did the reel, everybody was kind of talking to me about the song, and it brought a lot of joy for other people. So I put it in I added it to the Spotify playlist.
Makes sense to
So
me.
it's there.
Yep, yep, makes sense to me. I wonder now when you hear the song or when you related to it when you were little or any time throughout, have you now you are a woman of color,
Yeah.
have you ever connected with the fact that it was a black rose?
Okay, so yes, yes, I
Mhm.
have. The fact that it was a black rose, it kind of touched me even more. I have to be honest with you, because normally, the rose normally that in general that we talk about, they're actually pink or red, pink or red and things like that. But
Yeah.
the fact that it was a black rose, I think it kind of like touched me a bit more, and I felt like, oh,
Mhm.
I feel like Aretha Franklin is like um this kind of like iconic black woman, who went through so many
Absolutely.
things in so many decades. And when she sings, it's not just the lyrics, but it's her voice. It just transcends these feelings in a way. I don't know. I've always been touched with it. And I'm somebody who's really eclectic. I love every
Mm,
kind of songs.
me too.
I can listen to everything. But there's this thing when I'm listening to Aretha Franklin, I'm just like all my senses are all like they kind of illuminates, if I can say that.
Yeah, yeah. I think the same thing though with your reel. I think that that's what happened with your reel is that that joy just transcended, like it was just a whole nother level that people want, are attracted to, they want to figure out how to get it for themselves. So I think it's the same thing. I told my daughter about this song. I was like, girl, this is going on our playlist. We have a playlist that we play on the golf cart because we live in Florida. So we get on a golf cart and we buzz all around town and stuff. And yeah, I was like, I don't care if you like it or not. I'm like, this is such a good song. And it's such a feel good song. Just the
It
la la
is.
la's and just like the
Yes.
staccato of the short, punchy words,
Yes. Yes.
Black Rose in Spanish
Spanish
Harlem,
Harlem.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
Yes.
just love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
and one thing as well is like Spanish Harlem. It always kind of got me thinking of this. How does it? How is it? How it is like. What does it look like? The Spanish Harlem, because Harlem, for me, was associated again with black people. So
Sure.
having this kind of Spanish with it. And it made me think of like, so basically when we talk about multicultural things in our lives,
Society.
yes, in the society, but you think like it's not just about black people. It's about, I feel like it was more about everybody,
Mm-hmm.
every woman there, every woman that are feeling things, that are going through things. I didn't feel like it was specifically because they added the Spanish Harlem. I don't know. It just made me feel like it was inclusive of this kind of like multicultural diversity of Harlem that maybe we don't really see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, I agree with you. I think that's a good point that you're making. I also wonder, did this song make you curious about the United States? Because lots of time, Harlem is New York and
Yes,
that whole area. So, did it make you desire to travel here? Did it make you look it up? Did it, like, what stemmed from that
I've been
curiosity?
twice already.
Very cool.
I've been twice already. I've been with my whole family, and I've been also
Uh-huh.
just with a friend. I've been twice already.
That is so awesome, Patience. Ah, wow.
And I did go to Harlem, and I went to the Apollo Theater in Harlem. I went to see a show there, a concert. So
Sure.
yeah.
Wow, that's cool to see it come full circle. How cool is that? Wow.
So cool, so cool.
Yeah. Well, Patience, is there anything else you want to add about this song you want to share with my audience?
I think this song is really like it transports me to this good place and this good feeling. So I think what I want to say is, like, first of all, thank you for your podcast, because that's amazing. And also, I will encourage more people, I mean, women, men, children, everybody, to kind of use music to kind of transport them as well to this good feel, good vibes place. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Awesome. Well, I am going to put a link to your reel that is so infectious and everyone has just loved, a link to your playlist. And again, you guys remember there will be three links actually for my playlist for Memories with a Beat that goes on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, Podcast Land. I hope this episode was music to your ears.
Well, that was fun, wasn't it? You never know what rabbit holes we'll get to go down and explore. Were you reminded of anything? Or anyone? Share what it was with me in a review. Honestly, the reviews don't do me any favors other than knowing people like you are listening to this podcast. Insert cheesy wink. However, the ratings do help, so leave me 5 stars. You know you wanna. This podcast was produced by Virtual You, supporting you in all things podcasting. To connect or check me out on social media, I know you're just gonna stalk me. But see the show notes, as always, for details. Can't wait to dive into my next guest's memories with a beat. Hit subscribe now. You don't want to miss the next episode.